We're live?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just tagging you and you can share it and then we'll start as well. You'll probably see us on MMA India show.
Like, we're just tagging you and you can share it and then we'll start as well.
You may want to put the volume of that down though. Yeah.
You may want to put the volume of that down, please.
My volume?
The volume of the laptop, not yours. Because I could hear the Facebook live session coming back. This is fine now. This is fine now. Now can you put it down even more a little? Not your volume, but the volume of the playback from the live session. Yeah? You good to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay.
Let me,
yeah, you want to share it first and then we'll start?
There you go.
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, great. So welcome back to the MMA India show. This is your host, Praveen Dabas, and MMA Journo, Hyon who writes for quite a few publications and does a show called Community Radio, and one of the publications he writes for is MMA Today. John, you want to tell everybody which other publications you write for?
Yeah, I just started posting stuff on Ramen and Chokehold, which is a site out of Australia that covers Australian MMA and also Asian MMA, and a local site in Korea called Rank 5.
Okay, great. Awesome. So we are going to chat Super Fight League Season 2. Did you come down once or twice to cover the fights?
I was there for the first weekend.
Okay, great. And then you've been, of course, following the fights and writing about them after that.
Definitely. I've been interviewing a lot of the guys that have been fighting there, and I still got a few more interviews that will be coming on the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Now, to talk about the semifinals, there were two really standout moments. First, of course, the KO by Abdul Aziz of Sharma and Sumit Khade's head kick KO of Pawan Goyal. You know, talking about the first one, it was so well timed, and I think by that time he was waiting for it. He knew. And do you think Shasha became a little too? He expected that, and Abdul knew it was coming, and therefore he was able to time it.
Oh, definitely. Sasha was doing the same thing for 3 rounds, well, up to that point, and and as time passed, he became fatigued, he became tired, and his shots became slower, and Abdul just timed it perfectly. And especially it was in the beginning of the round where he's kind of fresh from that break and just put in everything that he had into that knee and landed perfectly, and Sasha was sleeping on the mat.
Yeah, I think Abdul was one of the big finds of this tournament, and he's an Afghani fighter, and these Afghani guys are really tough. You know, he took a lot of punishment in that fight, and it didn't seem like, you know, it was like water off a duck's back. He just seemed to absorb everything. These guys are pretty tough, and I think it might be the conditions, I don't know, in which they grow up as well.
Yeah, well, they're in a war-torn country, so I'm pretty sure when you're living in that environment, a lot of things that are difficult for people living in, I guess, advanced countries is nothing to him, because that's just a normal day in his life, and that as growing up in a country like that, I'm pretty sure mentally he's much stronger than a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to trivialize it, but you know, if you're in a war-torn country, for him, the MMA fight might just be like, fuck, this is it. I just have to fight a guy barehanded. You know, I'm used to like dodging bombs and bullets. I mean, it just really apparently toughens them up. But even before that, the Afghanis have always been known to be a very tough race, and they seem to be bringing out some really good Afghani fighters, and they have raised the level of Indian MMA since quite a few of them are fighting in the Indian MMA circuit. So, good for Indian MMA fighters for having such good, tough competition amongst them. Now,
Abdul, man, he is. I just want to say something about Abdul. Yeah. He's a guy that if you're watching mixed martial arts, you need to keep your eye on him, because he is a guy he hasn't even developed into the best fighter that he can be yet. But he's going out there and kind of with like raw talent, just destroying guys. Yeah. And I'm so like looking forward to seeing him fight in the future. And I hope like maybe he could get signed to like one championship or one of the bigger promotions.
Yeah.
To kind of while the season is not going on, to show his talents to a wider audience.
Yeah. Now coming to the second KO, that of Sumit Khade over Pawan Goyal. Sumit Khade has been a very big find for Indian MMA as well this season, and he did, of course, he trained at the Jackson Wing gym, and that has obviously helped him a lot in terms of strategy. He seemed to be one of the technically superior Indian MMA fighters out there, with a really good strategic mind and not just looking to go out and pummel his opposition, but really, there in the moment. And, especially his KO of Pawan Goyal, who's a really tough fighter as well. Pawan had some good wins this season. He's not some, he wasn't an easy win. I was really expecting a tough fight. But Sumit Khade just timed that kick so well. And I think he said afterwards that he knew Pawan's hands, the left hand goes down, and that's why, he was ready and he timed that kick just perfectly. Do you want to say something on that?
Precision.
Yeah. Can you hear us? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for your opinion on that. Yeah.
Yeah. The kick was precision. His frame that he possesses for a featherweight is very advantageous. From where he could throw strikes from distance and kind of like play the cat and mouse game with a lot of the fighters.
Yeah.
But his performances over the last 2 or 3 weeks have been phenomenal. He is a guy that you need to watch. He is a star in the making.
Yeah.
In India, and I look forward to him.
Yeah, and I definitely feel he has a really good path ahead of him, especially in one of the in an international promotion like we were mentioning. He is going to be with us today at 12:30. He's going to be live in our studio, and we're going to be chatting about him. And we have declared him, MMAindia.com has declared him the best fighter of the tournament. That is our opinion, and we will be giving him that award when he comes today at 12:30 India time, which is about an hour from now. So we're going to be live on that as well. A lot of respect for his talent, and especially, of course, the last fight, against Vishal Dahiya, was against a really tough opponent, who has really quick reflexes, and his inside thigh kicks, which he became a little infamous for. So it was really disturbing, of course, to see that he didn't have his groin cup secured. And I think even the commentators were like, why against Vikas Dahiya would you not want, like a secure groin cup? Because he kept sliding up and down and falling out. And it was like, so we're going to ask him, of course, if he had a strategy in place for those inner leg kicks, which Vikas wasn't really able to use. Because I think Sumit Khade is a very good judge of distance. Coming in, hitting, staying out, and keeping that distance. So Vikas Dahiya always had to try and close it, especially afterwards. If you saw in the third round, he was trying to, but Sumit Khade always knew how to maintain that distance and just stay out of range.
Yeah, he's known as the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
His inside leg kicks. If you look back at a lot of his previous fights, there is not only one fight that has been stopped with the inside leg kick, but 3 I remember in the past. So he is dangerous with that one weapon.
Yeah,
which was a great job.
Which was the third?
Staying away from that.
Which was the third fight which was stopped? Because there's Vikas Ruhil, Vince Murdoch, and which was the third one?
The third one was from last season.
Okay. Cool.
No, last season. He's if he can get better timing and precision into those kicks that he has, he is a very dangerous guy that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But Khade, he's just more polished, and he did a great job. And he kind of knew in his mind that he didn't need to get the knockout; he just needed to get the win and kind of get out of that fight not injured.
Yeah.
Also, the funniest moment of that fight was, like you said, with the cup. It fell out of his shorts like a chicken lays an egg.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting situation right there.
Yeah. So it was like you do not want to lose that thing right now. The end of the second round, especially, I think it was the end of the second round. He played a very smart game in which he didn't really try to gas himself out. He made sure he had enough gas in the tank when he had top position, and he was raining down those blows on Vikas Dahiya, but he didn't really go all out and absolutely finish his gas tank. He kept at it, and because of that, I think he still had enough left in the gas tank for the third round.
Definitely. What did you think the fight of the year was, though?
There are a couple of fights that I really liked. I can't think of them right now. I really did like, one fight I really did enjoy because of the apparent a lack of bad blood between them is Jason Radcliffe and Vincent. How do you pronounce his last name? Mamouche?
Yeah,
Mamouche. So, that was really interesting because you had a stand-up guy against somebody with a really amazing ground game. And, Jason was obviously letting it rip on Vincent before the fight. And he didn't say anything before. But as soon as the fight finished and he finished him, he let Jason know what he thought, and it went on for some time. It did go on for some time afterwards. They had to have security separate them, and eventually he did go to Jason's room and shake hands, so it was all well. But I think that kind of true, I don't know what to call it, antagonism, when fighters have that. It makes it very interesting for fighters because they really want to see now who's going to win and are they, going to fight again, blah, blah, blah. So that makes for a very interesting fight. So that was one of my favorite fights, though I don't want to say it was fight of the year.
I think the fight of the year was on that same card, which was David Moon versus Farhad.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, the Afghani fighter.
Yeah. Again, he showed such a tough,
goes back and forth.
An amazing chin he showed as well.
Yeah, some spinning back elbows, takedowns. Everything that you see in the fight. It happened during that fight. It was. Yeah, I thought it was really good, basically the whole season. But he fought every fight injured, and not with a minor injury. So I'm not gonna say what injury he had, but from what I heard is it was a major injury, and he just took every fight. So
are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure a lot of guys did.
Are you talking about David Moon or Farhad?
No, David Moon.
Okay, so David Moon had an injury, and he still took the fight and fought through it.
Yes, he was injured through the whole season.
Ah, wow. So that's pretty amazing that he was able to. He had about what, 3 fights?
Yeah, he had 3 fights.
Okay, that's pretty amazing, especially in that context that he not only got through that fight but won it against a really tough opponent like Farhad, who just refused to go down.
Yeah.
You know. So any other fights you want to talk about, which were like, which according to you were some of the top fights?
Instead of fights, I say like fighters. Jennifer Cecilia Gonzalez from Chile.
Yeah.
She came in and I think she fought like 4 weeks in a row and submitted every fighter that she faced in the first round, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
And I see that she's going to be a very good fighter once she develops her striking. Other than that, there's a few matchups that I really wanted to see, but they never materialized.
Like?
Which was Gary Mangat versus Agasa.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that would have been a very good fight. Hello? Hello?
Definitely, that's the one that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a very good fight. And on the MMA India rankings, they're number 2 and 3, in fact. So that would have been a really good matchup as far as we're concerned. And both of them are very skilled and have very good ground skills as well. Agasa is one of, the few fighters to have a really good ground game as well. So that would have been interesting.
Yeah, and also like with the girls, what's her name? Jennifer versus the Brazilian girl. She was fighting with the Mumbai Maniacs in the beginning of the season, and she submitted.
Was her name the one who?
Both her fights.
Was it? Are you? Is she an Indian girl?
No, she's Brazilian.
Brazilian. Was it Teresa? Is her name Teresa?
I'm not for sure, but she was here from the beginning. She's all tatted up. She's like neck tattoos and.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I forgot her name, but she was very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought like that her versus Jennifer would have been also a matchup that I would have liked to see.
Yeah.
That never materialized. There was a lot of fighters, man. Like watching this whole season, because last season I would watch glimpses of it, but this season I've watched every single weekend, every single fight.
Wow.
And like analyzing and watching these fighters develop, and even like props to the coaches that help these fighters throughout the weeks.
Yeah.
There was a lot of.
Sorry, we lost you there for a second. A lot of. Sorry, we lost you there for a second. Can you just repeat that? Can you just repeat that? A lot of what? What were you saying?
There's a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
Like that are developing and they could become huge stars. And then there's a few fighters on the roster that fought this season that are already on their way to becoming something huge in the world of MMA. And it was great to see the beginnings of that.
Now, what do you?
And some crazy like going back to what we were talking about earlier, those 2 knockouts.
Yeah.
Which went completely viral. If you go to like social media, you will see both of those knockouts everywhere, especially that head kick.
Yeah.
People love that one.
Yeah. So that's really good for Indian MMA to see an Indian MMA fighter go viral for the right reasons. With a technically superb head kick like that, and see it all over. That was really great, and I think there is a lot of good to be said for a platform where they are able to match their skills over a period of time. What do you think of the format as such? Because it's not an easy format for fighters to come back week after week. That does really harden them in a way, where you're put out and you really need to every week, where within a couple of days you need to cut weight again and get back into weight, go out there. So so in that way, it's a very it's a promotion. It's a format which really toughens you up.
Well, that's where all the criticism comes in, is with the format of this league. You know, it's only 6 weeks, and the fighters, they're only gonna fight like 6 weeks out of the year, which is tough, week after week.
Yeah.
Some of them have problems there because they're not going to be healthy, and then a lot of the fighters could be injured, which will destroy some of the matchups that come along, you know. And I'm thinking that's where a lot of the fighters, they didn't expect that to happen, and then that's why they're criticizing the promotion for their how they handle these situations. And some of the fighters coming in, and they're not, you know, the matchups were weird, right? Some of the fighters were debuting, other fighters were not even, you know, other fighters were really injured, but they were kind of like, you know, allegedly forced to fight, stuff like that. So, you know, now I kind of want to talk about that in more detail, because from interviewing the fighters, and from, you know, especially, let's get into the other side, because of course we talked about the good stuff, but, you know, every good side has a bad side. And in the media, Vince Murdoch has been up there, you know, allegedly, you know, saying, you know, accusing Super Fight League of many different things.
Yeah, and you've interviewed him as well, and so have we. So we've both heard what he has to say. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, it's important to talk about this, because if we talk about it, then maybe they can fix it for the future. And fighters that actually get contracted to fight for Super Fight League, they will be, you know, they wouldn't be hesitant to go to India, because the reputation of not just Super Fight League, but it's kind of like the reputation of India is, you know, on the line, right? Don't you believe that?
Yes, I do, definitely, because this is the biggest promotion as of now out of the country. So people do look at it, you know, it's like when you think of America, you think of UFC. When you think of Russia, you think of ACB. You know, when you think of Asia, you think of One Championship. So when you think of India, you do connect Super Fight League with India. So in that regard, it is very necessary that things not only be fair, but also be seen to be fair.
Yeah, you know, I know that a lot of these promotions, like I'm not talking about in India, but there's other promotions in the world that kind of govern themselves. But it seems like Super Fight League has a governing body, which is the All Indian MMA, right? But now
the All India Mixed Martial Arts Association. That's the full name, AIMA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, AIMA. So in AIMA, it's kind of unclear what AIMA does. Like, who is AIMA? Because if you listen to the interviews of Hyon Fernandez, who was also refereeing for me, what it controls AIMA.
Sorry, can you just repeat that? You got cut a little. Can you just repeat that, please?
Yeah. I wanted to know, like, since Vince is talking about, you know, Alan Fernandez and saying that he is AIMA, he controls AIMA, he's the one who takes care of everything that AIMA is involved with. Can you clear that up, since you are in ground zero? What is AIMA? Who takes care of AIMA?
I can't talk on behalf of AIMA. I will give of my general knowledge of what I know, being in the Indian MMA scene for quite some time. But of course, we will try and get somebody from AIMA to speak about themselves. But AIMA is an organization, if you want to call it a commission, which is made up. Alan is also, of course, a member. It is headed by Daniel Isaac. I say that because the statement we received from AIMA because we did reach out to them about Vince, and it was received it was written by Daniel Isaac, who if you want, I'll just read out the statement itself. Just give me 1 second.
Definitely.
So it was the official statement regarding Vince Murdoch bouts at Super Fight League 2018. Bout number 1 held on Feb 16th, 2018 versus Christian Rawat. At the on-screen time clock of 2.27 round 1, reference the Facebook live telecast. Rawat lands a left hook, a legal strike by Rawat on Murdoch, which causes immediate bleeding and visible on-screen. The referee observes that since the cut does not impair Murdoch's vision, he allows the fight to continue without pausing the action throughout round 1. During the break after round 1, the referee sees the excessive bleeding and asks the cage side doctor to step in and check the fighter. The on-screen footage shows the doctor informing the referee that the wound cut is very deep and needs immediate medical attention. The referee asks the doctor if he should continue the fight. The doctor confirms that since the cut is very deep and needs immediate medical attention, the referee must stop the fight. The referee calls an end to the bout and declares Rawat as the winner by TKO. Then bout number 2 held on March 3rd, 2018 versus Vikas Dahiya. At the on-screen time clock of 3.40 round 2, reference the Facebook live telecast. Dahiya throws a low kick to Murdoch's inner thigh. The referee offers Murdoch the benefit of the doubt and gives him 5 minutes to recover, considering this an accidental kick to the groin, while giving a caution to Dahiya to keep his low kicks away from the groin. Murdoch chooses not to take the full 5 minutes and continues to fight. As soon as the bout is restarted, Dahiya answers with another inside low kick after Murdoch connects with a high kick of his own. The referee observes that Murdoch's response to the apparent inner leg kick is that he is in pain, either due to a torn muscle/ligament or a blown knee, as he buckles in pain and stops intelligently defending himself. In brackets, since the referee does not deem that kick as a groin attack or foul, end of brackets, Dahiya chooses not to follow up and finish the fight. The referee, inverted brackets again, based on Murdoch's reaction and in the interest of safety of Murdoch, finish inverted brackets, stops the bout and declares it as a TKO, brackets in brackets, injury, victory in favor of Dahiya. Before the official announcement, Vince Murdoch chooses to jump over the cage and leave the arena. This action of leaving the arena could further be declared as a disqualification to Murdoch, but we have decided to stay with the decision as announced in the cage. IMA has reviewed all footage available at this time concerning the above incidents and reconfirms all decisions as above. And it's signed by Daniel Isaac, National Commissioner/founder member, IMA. So I read it ad verbatim from the statement sent to us from their official email. I will try speaking to Daniel for some more clarity on that, but we haven't reached out to him as of yet. We will try reaching out to him now. So, that was the statement, if you want to say anything on it.
Well, Vince, listening to a lot of the interviews that he has done, he feels that he doesn't really know who this Isaac guy is, who's supposed to be in charge, right? And he hasn't gotten any emails, returned, and any of his requests have been basically denied. And Alan Fernandez, is the guy that's the common factor in all of this that's happening, right? Yeah. So he attacks Alan Fernandez. Now, Alan Fernandez, he has a history of making bad decisions in the cage, right? He has become famous now because of this. He's become like one of the basically he's become like a Steve Mazzagatti or a Yuji Shimada or what's the other guy, Yamasaki, right? He's at that level now to where people basically don't want to fight if he's refereeing now, right? But the fighters have no choice. And it's a terrible situation for Vince. I think that they should probably look at this again and kind of listen to what he has to say, and go through the appeal process. and and because right now, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose by doing this? Because you got some guy out there, like throwing accusations, like that you are corrupt, that you are in cahoots with the promotion to, elevate certain teams. And the way you guys are going to do it is by fixing the fights, basically, or controlling the outcome of the fights. So there's got to be some kind of solution to smooth everything out, don't you think?
Yeah, we did speak to Bill Dosanjh as well, the head of the Super Fight League. So for a statement on this, and his statement was basically that what happens inside the ring is in the purview of AIMA and the referee. Sorry, for the referee, and it's a review is overlooked by AIMA, so SFL doesn't have anything to do with it. Having said that, I would say the first fight, it becomes, I don't want to say anything on that because it becomes a matter of opinion. What I want to say about the second fight though is personally, this is my personal opinion, I do feel, especially since there was another fight which got stopped in the same way and it became a no contest. I think the Vikas Real fight, please correct me if I'm wrong. If that ended the same way and it became a no contest, I think in the larger interest of not just justice, but making sure that it's not just about fair play, but making sure that fair play is seen to have been done as well. I think in the review, because let's say, referees do make mistakes. They make mistakes all over the world. Having said that, I think in the review, it should have been clear that the fighter, one cannot say he wasn't intelligent defending himself because Dahiya had also walked away, so there was nothing to defend himself from. And I said this in the Vince Verdock interview as well, so I'm kind of repeating myself, is that according to me, if it was judged in that moment that it wasn't a groin kick, then the fight should have actually continued. It should have been signaled that the fight is still alive and it continues, and Vikas Dahiya should have been allowed to finish Vince off. So that was the opinion I gave during the interview of with Vince, and that still stands. Having read the statement from AIMA, that's still my opinion. Having said that, I will still try reaching out to Daniel to get his opinion also on this. I mean, that was his opinion, that was his statement, but to chat further on it, that's what I mean. Anything you want to add to that or comment on?
The job of the commission. Yeah, the job of the commission is to kind of like right the wrongs. So if the referee does make a mistake in the cage, the commission should look deeply into that mistake and and rectify the situation, like fix the problem, it's common sense, like you said. The guy is known to hit people in the cup. His inside leg kick is a little too high a lot of the times. And the next fight that he had, the other guy got hit in the cup, same kick, same place, and it was turned to a no contest, right? So it doesn't make any sense why Vince's fight is a disqualification or a TKO. But it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't want to blame anybody, but they just need to fix this, problem. And it's not just this fight. You can't even just focus on Vince. You got to look at some of the other fights that happened throughout the season, where guys were getting hit in the back of the head continuously without the referee saying anything, and multiple times. There was one Indian fighter in the first week. He was hit in the back of the head 15 times, but the ref didn't say anything. He ended up losing that fight via TKO. They don't go back and look at that. People should be appealing those things too. People should go back and appeal that. But if Alan Fernandez is the ref and he's also the commission, then it's like, what is the point of even trying to appeal anything? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, of course I understand. And I agree that there needs to be, I think, a demarcation. Can you just repeat that? You got cut a little again. Can you just repeat that, please? Hello? Can you repeat that? We just lost you for a second. Hello? Can you hear us, John?
Yeah.
Sorry, we lost you for a second. I said I do agree that there needs to be a demarcation in it, and referees do make mistakes. Like we said, all over the world, but the body with the power to overturn them needs to be demarcation. With a different set, I'm guessing, of people in that, which is how it happens, I'm guessing, around the world.
Yeah, if there's something that can be appealed, they're going to throw that appeal in there, especially if it's very clear what happened, and that actually helps. The refereeing of the refereeing. It helps the referee, because then the referee knows like what mistakes they but if you don't.
Okay, sorry, you were breaking up again. Can you just repeat that?
Those things, and the referee is going to go out there and a result, like in Vince's case, that's not result.
Yeah. So like I said, I am going to try reaching out to both Alan and Daniel to especially see why because the Vikas Dahiya fight was turned into an NC, why the same wasn't done for this fight, since it was more or less the same conditions. Can you hear me? Did you hear what I said, John?
I hear you now. I hear you now.
Did you hear what I said? That we will try reaching out to...
No, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I said we will try reaching out to Daniel and Alan, especially with the question of that if the Vikas Dahiya fight was eventually an NC, why the same can't be applied to this fight. Just keep the Vodafone hotspot ready as well. Sorry, we're starting to lose you. Did you hear what I said? Yeah. Sorry, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard what you said. Yeah, I heard what you said about that you're going to try to get Daniel and Alan up.
Yeah.
And kind of clear things out. And I hope that happens, because people also need to hear the other side of the story. They can't just hear Vince's side, all the time, because you get swayed a little bit, right, by Vince's story.
Yeah.
So to be fair, Daniel, Alan, they need to come on your show and kind of put everything on the table and say, this is what happened, this is how we see it, and this is how we fixed it. And this is the reason why we made these decisions.
I agree, because otherwise it's just us giving our
and if it's them or not.
Yeah. I agree, because otherwise it's just us giving our opinion, and with Vince's side. I did read out the statement that was given to us by Aima, but I think there is, with all the other things being spoken about, I think, it's only fair that Daniel or Alan or both, say what they want to say from their own mouths. And I will reach out to them, after this interview and see if they want to chat about it.
Yeah, they need to come on. Come on, you guys. Daniel, Alan, you guys need to come on the show and clear everything up. Season 3 is going to come soon. If you have this controversy happening, it's going to continue because Vince, he's not going to stop. He's going to continue doing it and doing more interviews. And he's going to throw your names under the bus continuously, and then more and more people are going to see it. You got to kind of express your side. You gotta do it. You can't. It's not just for IMA. It's for the Super Fight League too.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because like I said, Super Fight League is, as of now, it's the biggest promotion in the country. And it's very important that people not only feel that things are done in fairness, but see, it needs to appear that way as well. And it shouldn't be that one incident, because there are, like we spoke about, there are a lot of good things, which happened in the Super Fight League. A lot of great knockouts. It's a great platform for Indian fighters. It's a very tough platform, like we said, having to fight every week. Does that work and toughen these guys up? That's possible. Does it work in the reverse? I don't know, but, there are a lot of good things. So it should not be that one incident defines, what has happened, because there is, like we said, so many good things with the Sumit Khare head kick going viral, and with the Abdul Aziz, and there were quite a few times where I think there were some apparent fouls and they took points away from the opponent, which I felt were very good decisions as well, and I think we did point it out on our Twitter and everything as well. So there were a lot of good decisions as well. So I think we should not allow one couple of fights to define it. And so I think it's even more important that there be some clarity, on what they feel their reasons are. Of course, like I said, I read out the statement, so they have stated why they did what they did. But if they can come on the show and give more clarity, we will invite them. And I've spoken to Daniel and Alan both quite a few times. I share a great relationship, so hopefully we will be able to get them on the show soon.
Yeah, I hope it happens. I wanted to ask you a question about MTV and Super Fight League.
Yeah.
Has it been a huge success? With having that show on MTV?
I cannot say for surety as compared to last year when it was on Sony Live. On Sony ESPN and Sony 6. I think it was on Sony 6 or Sony ESPN. And this year, of course, it has shifted to MTV. MTV, of course, has a much younger audience, and MTV has started doing some other sports deals as well. They've got the Box Cricket League. They took the rights to some big English Premier football matches as well. And I'm not sure if they took some Spanish League matches as well, but they are trying to get into the sports field as well and appeal to their youth market. So as of now, I've not gotten any official numbers from MTV, so I can't really say anything on that, but there is a hardcore MMA base in India which does follow all the fights, and we have, of course, been reporting and doing reviews on more or less all of them.
Who are the stars, do you think, that have come out of season 2 in India?
Like I said, with Sumit Khare, definitely Abdul Aziz. And here I have to say, Jason Solomon, I know him well, so I don't want to sound biased. I thought his fight with Pavan Man was really good and technical. We had him here live as well, speaking, and he did show that he understood strategically very well, against almost you can say a stronger opponent like Pavan Man, who has held 2 belts at the same time previously. So he did show technically he was a really good fighter, and that he's learned a lot coming along the way. And he does know how to keep himself in the news, which is a great trait. And full disclosure here, we've done a couple of episodes of a reality show with him. But, as you would of events, he knows how to keep his face, out there, which is what's needed for, to create some stars on the Indian MMA scene. You've got a lot of really talented guys, they're gonna, you need to have them start talking themselves up or have really amazing finishes like a Sumit Khade. And so Jason has got a good mix of what he defined. Unfortunately, the season ended for him because of that accident he had in Phuket when he went back for training. But I think he does know how to keep himself in the news. He has a razor sharp tongue, and even when he got injured, he was still back in the SFL as the captain of the Delhi Heroes, and talking up a fight with Gurdarshan Mangat. And that's a fight I would love to see now. That's what you're talking about. So, and Gurdarshan Mangat really showed some amazing skills in the ring. Again, a top-notch fighter. We could only wish great things for him. Abdulaziz, Farhadzada, very tough fighters. David Moon, like we mentioned. Vincent Mamouche, of course. But if we want to stick to the Indian fighters, I would say, again, Babajit, had a really good fight against a younger opponent who really showed he had the goods to face somebody like Babajit. Agasa, of course. Agasa we didn't see too much of, as much as I would like to see in this thing. So I would really say the standout guys, has been Sumit, of course, and, Abdul, and a couple of the other fighters as well showed, a much more progressive game that they have been learning since last year. And that is what I really felt good about, is that the Indian fighter, now let's, take away, focus from everything else, but the Indian fighter is taking advantage, it seems, of competition and trying to up his game, which is very necessary for Indian MMA to progress. Okay. Did you hear what I said?
About one fighter.
Yeah. Oh, who did I?
Yeah.
Sorry. Who did I forget? Oh. Hello? 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 Can you hear us?
School. Hello?
Yeah, sorry,
Hello?
Yeah, we got you again. Can you
There you go.
Who did I forget?
I said, you forgot one fighter.
Yeah, which one?
And that fighter's name is Schoolyard Singh.
Schoolyard?
Schoolyard
Sorry, what was it?
Singh.
Can you repeat that? We were
Schoolyard Singh.
Schoolyard Singh.
Schoolyard Singh. Yeah.
Can you spell it out? I don't think I'm.
Schoolyard Singh.
Suryajit Singh.
Yes, the girl with the headlock. The Schoolyard Singh.
Ah, the Schoolyard Singh. You mean Kiran? Her name is Kiran. You're talking about Kiran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna,
Karen.
Yeah, Kiran.
Singh.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to go to another internet connection, which is a little better. Let me just try shifting. Just give me a second. I'll call you back. We're still live. Just give me a second. 7566, right? Vodafone mobile Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
Is it connected?
Yeah. Let's see if we Yeah, so that's slightly better.
Yeah.
Yes, Kiran, Schoolyard Singh. She was a tough fighter.
Yes, I think Schoolyard Singh.
Yeah.
Tough girl.
Yeah.
I thought she was kind of like for Indian MMA. I thought she was kind of the breakout star of the tournament. She came in and she was really ferocious with her headlocks, and she never let go. But I feel that she probably learned the most out of most of these fighters.
Yeah.
That she has to learn and expand her game. But I'm anticipating her to become a much better fighter, and she's very young at the same time. So I'm excited for her. I like her attitude also. She has a good attitude, and she could probably become a star in India.
Yeah. Well,
I believe.
let's just hope she's learned not to kick her opponents when the referee has called the fight off. So, which I thought was, maybe I shouldn't say it was funny, but it wasn't the right thing to do. Let's hope somebody had a chat with her. But very talented, I agree. She's tough. Initially, when we saw her the first time, I wasn't, I didn't think she had so much potential as she does. But I think she's learned a lot, like you said rightly, during this whole, season. And she is a bright star, and she seems very determined and very hardworking. So I think that's gonna, keep her in good stead. Yeah. So I think our internet connection is telling us it's time to go. So yeah. So it was really lovely talking to you, John, and hopefully we'll get in touch again and connect about other various promotions and everything, and soon for the next season of Super Fight League as well. So take care, and thank you for joining us.
For sure. All right, no worries. I just wanted to tell you guys are doing a great job, and I plan on talking to you guys more in the future.
Great, thank you so much, John. And that was me, Praveen Abbas from the MMA India Show, MMAindia.com, and John Hyon Ko from MMAtoday.com, Committee Radio, and quite a few other publications which you mentioned at the beginning of the show. Do follow and check out his podcast and his write-ups and everything. He's doing some great interviews, so we are very lucky to have him on the show. Thank you so much once again for being on the show, and chat with you soon. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Cheers. Let's open the door. We'll